Zona de Pudus.
Tiny deer.
Watch your driving. We are at a spot, and we kind of been looking at for these things. We are at a spot with the world's smallest deer. So we will be on the lookout for them, of course, and other wildlife. Meanwhile, the iOverlander, the Google, everything we read about this road says it is a bad road, take warning. So,
but this is a national or a natural park. I think it's privately owned. We'll have to confirm that we really want to get to, guys. There's supposed to be a lot of beautiful stuff out of here and a lot of animals we've never seen. So hopefully we can make it and we don't have to turn back. We're gonna find out. Let's go.
moo.
So we stopped off for some lunch as we get ready to drive down what we've been warned is going to be a terrible road. So we thought we would relax before we get on the road.
Look at this cool little place. We're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Everything out here is made of wood. Everything. Alright, I gotta be honest with you guys. As we pass by this old broken down pickup truck and that makeshift water tower, I love going through these little farmlands. And to be honest with you, in Patagonia, they were widely dispersed, if at all, and almost exclusively for sheep. But these little farms here are cool. You'll look over there and there'll be a cow in the front yard and a couple chickens going around. And maybe you might see a pig tied up or 5 or 6 sheep grazing. And they all got stacks of firewood, and most of the property is covered in timber. So I think that's good because they have a place to cut down and then dry the wood, which is what they use for heating. We learned when we were eating lunch at the restaurant that, well, they doesn't look like they use a whole lot of insulation here. So wood looks like to be the heating element, but and the cooking element, but we forgot to show you guys the food from lunch.
We get so excited, we just eat and we forget.
But that's okay, because we're riding through the farmlands. There's some little cows up here, but what a beautiful place. Look, they got some tables here and some kind of, oh, maybe like artisanal. Oh, Comunidad Indigena. It's an indigenous community center where they have something going on in the middle stage, and then they got artisanal booths around. All right, here we go. Rickety Bridge number 1.
The sign said 10 tons, but I don't know.
Alright, I can definitely see where this is a road prone to washing out. We're coming down a hill, and there's a little lake there, but we are entering into our destination, which is Parque Tantuaco. And so when we get to the gate, this is supposed to be the best part of the road we're on right now. That's where the road really turns south, so we'll see. All right, this is a big problem right here. I think it's a big river. I can't really see how deep it is. So we're gonna take a stick right, I'm taking the stick and jamming it in the ground. All through here. My assessment is we're okay. We have to go slow, but Snow's gonna want to go super fast. See what she says. Let's go explain her the situation. All right, here's what I think. I think I'm gonna get on the other side and you just slowly come in. I didn't feel anything that felt too deep, but go slow. So don't just gun it.
Yeah, that's right. The one that did 475.
I think it's gonna be pretty much the same across there. All right, we're gonna go easy peasy. Make sure it doesn't get too deep through here. How did it feel?
Fine. It probably looked worse from the outside than it felt from the inside. Doesn't make it any less scary when you're driving into water that's muddy and you can't see the bottom.
The worst thing about this road is, like, you got all these potholes and these ruts, and it just rocks the van back and forth. Like, sometimes the wheel comes off the ground. That's what kind of rock.
No rhythm or size. You know, everything's different all across the whole road, so you can't just hit a bump, because when you hit one bump, you're hitting 3 bumps on the other side. And it weeble wobbles us.
It does, but it does not beat us like those roads that we had coming up the Patagonia along Argentina and Chile when we first got there. That was terrible.
So far, it's manageable.
Another interesting bridge. All right. Maximum 3 meters, 5 tons. This is really, really disappointing. I'm crushed. But there is a lodge up here about 20 kilometers that allows people to stay there. We were headed there. However, the bad news is the road is out between here and there. So our options are to hike around here, but then we have to get back. If you guys watched the last episode, you know we spent the most part of this day doing chores. It's a long, bumpy ride out here. We don't have a camp spot. Long story short, we're gonna have to cancel this trip and try to find the Pudu someplace else. Really bummer, but we can't do it. So, gotta turn around.
Made it back to the main road, which is called Ruta 5 out here on the Chiloe. Is it an island or a peninsula?
Peninsula.
Out here on the peninsula. We are northbound. We are having to regroup because we couldn't go to the park we were going to go to. First thing we're going to do is find a campsite because it's getting late because we had to drive many hours on that bumpy road. And then we think we may know of another private park. It's very similar to the one we couldn't go to. We're going to try to figure out if we can get to that one. So hang in there. We are still looking for the cool wildlife.
Well, it's an intense time. Snow's backing in, but she found us a spot, and we have a real pretty church here and some cows. So that's nice.
Attention, stop sign.
So it looks like we have a bunch of seagulls and albatross here and some other water birds as well. And the big blue buoys out there are definitely from the salmon farms. And there are a lot of them, as I said, in this lake. And this church is pretty cool. Check it out. All right, well, I was out here videoing these birds, trying to get closer, and this guy walks by with a bucket and what looks like tongs. I wonder if he's going out here to gather something up. These birds here are doing a lot of gathering. See if we can get some video of them. Get up here and get a little closer. It's a little bit moshy. See what we can do. Alright, I think I know what's going on here. I think that guy went out to get clams. And I think between the seagulls and the albatross here, I believe it's mostly seagulls, they go out there in the water and they kind of peck up and dig up a clam from the water, and they bring it up here and they fly up in the air and they drop the clam and they drop it down to bust it open, and then they fly down and get it. Well, meanwhile, you have all these other hawk-like birds who are just sitting here waiting for those seagulls to drop one of those clams or mussels out of the sky so they have a feast. So it looks like, though, the tide may come up here and they can walk around and kind of pick up maybe even some clams where we're standing right now. But there's definitely some feasting going on. What an amazing diversity of seabirds here. Every time I get locked a new one onto my camera, it seems like another one walks by or flies by and catches my attention. And to be honest with you, there are just so many different kinds. And when you first walk up and you see them all flying, you're kind of like, oh, there's a bunch of seagulls. But then as you slow down and you start to look closely, you can just see there are so many really cool types of birds. And as I told you earlier, there are a lot of them are out here feasting either on the clams or snails or whatever it is, some kind of meat on the bottom. But as you see, the ducks and the swans and some of the other water birds, they're out there clearly picking away at the seaweed and other vegetation. Now, one thing I should mention is this right here is a riverbed that dumps out into this bay. And I'm sure the combination of the fresh water and the salt water makes this place special for the birds. Up there by the bridge, by the stream, that's where I walked the kitties, and both Vanna and G-Money had an interesting time here. They're not huge fans of being around the water, so that was one thing. But in any event, we got to walk the cats there, but we are parked right up by that bridge. And then we're by this old wooden church, and it has got a super tall steeple and is really cool and unique, like nothing we've seen before. This is a cool place. I'm gonna go back and see if we're gonna end up staying here for the night, or if we're gonna go try to find another spot where we can research the next part we want to go to. So look, I just returned to the van from my bird session, and what do I find?
Blackberry picking.
There are so
When I was little.
there are so many berry bushes here. They're like everywhere. Look at there. This is right by the van, but all along this trail they're just loaded with them, and they're all ripe and just falling off the trees. So
Some of them are too ripe.
yeah.
Eat them right away.
We are not going to stay here tonight. We are going to go on and see what we can get into next.
I'm driving, you're smiling, just really doing nothing. That's the thing I like about you. On the highway, it's our way, Route 66, and we keep on driving. We just do what we wanna do. Yeah, no, nothing's complicated with you. Hey, playing songs on the radio, sing along to the words that we don't know how. Brings out the wildness, let's just run away. Yeah, I could drive the whole along, be with you is like being on the rodeo highways. Brings out the wildness, I got a little crush on you.
So the parking spot we were headed to, right on the waterfront by a little coffee shop, was full. And we're ready to settle in for the night. So we got creative. We drove around a little bit. We found this little mirador up by some tennis courts. Beautiful view out over the water. A little hustle and bustle of a little ship activity down there. Found a little flat spot right by the tennis court fence. And I think this is home for the night. Curt's probably in there starting dinner. It looks like it's clean out all the leftovers dish. What are you getting into, Curt?
Well, this is some fresh basil that we got. Remember we were bragging about our new greenery. This is a little chicken and peppers that we cooked up the other day. We had some chicken sandwiches that were yummy. So onions, red peppers, green peppers. And then our last, probably in a long time, maybe ever,
butternut
squash that I cooked. So we're going to put a little Cusco in this, a little probably add a little garbanzo beans, some more peppers. And yeah, we'll have a nice little Cusco.
Nice. Going in the bowls and then going in our tummies. Smells yummy, guys. We got up this morning, had a relaxing breakfast and coffee. It is about 10 o'clock. We have been on the road for maybe 20 minutes. Drove through some pretty rolling fields by a beautiful lake. Saw a really cool church as we were leaving that town we camped in last night. But now we have turned off of the paved road. We are on a dirt road. We've been warned that this road can get bad, but so far it is really awesome. And we are headed to another private nature reserve that is very similar to the one that had the bridge down that we couldn't get to. So hopefully there's no bridges down here, because we are still looking for the Pudu, the teeny tiny deer. Well, this bridge is not out, but there is a sign right before it that says 2 tons. Guys, our van weighs quite a bit more than 2 tons. 2 tons is 4,000 pounds. We are more than that. Let's see what we're gonna do. It looks sturdier than several of the bridges we went across when we were up in Brazil in the Pantanal. But we can't get a good look at the underneath. Oh, there he goes.
Really know why it says 2 tons. I mean, we've been on bridges way worse than that. You remember those big giant trees we walked on in the forest? Yeah. Those big giant ones that were like, they had steps carved on it? That's what this bridge is underneath of it. So this is just sitting on top of those. And so these run along those giant trees. And I mean, they're that big, and the sections don't run the whole distance, so they got right in the middle, they got beams, so they run right there. But I mean, I can't see anything that scares me about that bridge other than that sign.
Okay, what are we gonna do? All right, we decided to go. I have a tendency to gun it in spots like this. Curt is gonna do it. Oh. We did not fall in the river. There's a welcoming committee that doesn't seem quite so welcoming. Here we go. We're headed on.
Great news, everything worked out. I think it was, I don't even know, less than 20 bucks to get in here for both of us. They do charge for the van. I think it's like 5 bucks a person, 6 bucks for the van. In any event, there's a lodge in here, a private lodge. They said we can go up there, check and see if administration will let us stay out here for the night. Maybe we can pay, I don't know, we'll see. But he said 80% chance we'll see the Pudu. I don't want to jinx ourselves, but I like those odds. So anyway, we're pretty pumped. We got into this park and we're going for it. We are hunting Pudus, and along the road it's definitely gotten more dense. The vegetation definitely more green. A lot of big ferns. It's definitely sort of wetter back in here with more moss, more things like that. So
It's pretty.
we are looking, but it's thick, but we are looking as hard as we can. Now, a lot of times when you get on these roads, you'll see an animal crossing the road. Sometimes that's your best chance to see them because of the thick cover. But we have been wildlife spotting an awful lot through all these countries. We love doing this. And we're going to find a Pudu, guys. We are going to find a Pudu.
What's exciting about this park is there's some parking, and possibly the lodge, if we could talk them into letting us camp in their parking lot. But there's some parking out here, and there's trails through these woods. So we don't just have to drive down the road looking for them. We get to get out and walk more out in their environment, trying to find them.
Look at these giant leaves, guys. They're about the
as the
size of the van.
They're not quite as big.
Yeah, they're not as big. They're still big though. All right, we have our first Pudu sighting. We don't get it in video. He did duck into the bushes. He is right here. I don't think Snow can see him, but it looks like there's little branches in there moving. Oh, he is tiny, guys. He is like, there he is, I can see him. He is standing up. He's got little horns, so they're about 4 inches, which means he's probably a male. Definitely a Pudu. All right, Snow's gotten out of the van trying to get a closer look. I don't really think we got a camera on him. He's in the short bush, but he is right there still. We can see him. Ah, so cool. He's so tiny. He's like the size of a small dog. Oh, I think Snow just got him. She's moving around. I think she's got him right there. Guys, this is the world's smallest deer species, the Pudu. There's a northern Pudu and a southern Pudu. And this is the southern Pudu. And actually the northern Pudu, which is up in Colombia, we did not see up there, is smaller than this. But for a deer, this guy is tiny. And it looks like he's just in the trees, just chewing on brambles or some kind of particular plant, but he's definitely eating. And he doesn't seem to be nervous as Snow.
We are at the lodge that is inside of this reserve, and Curt has gone inside to try to work his magic and see if they will let us park the van here overnight. This place is not known for camping or overlanding. Curt did it again. He went into the lodge. Now, we do have the benefit that high season is over. down here in South America, all the kids are back in school, vacation time is over. So the lodge, I think it only has like 8 rooms or something like that, and a couple of little villas and cabins you can rent, but it's empty. So that was definitely to our benefit. But he went in and met with Martine, who runs the place somehow, and he's making an exception. He is letting us pay. We're gonna park our van in the parking lot of the lodge. We get to take a shower in one of the hotel rooms. We've got use of the bathroom. We can go up to the 2nd floor where there's a view and there's tables if we want. It is a magnificent place.
And we got the place all to ourselves. There's nobody out here.
And but for now, we're driving down the road to the end of the trail where there's supposed to be a really nice walk. We're gonna go look for some more wildlife right now while the sun's still up. I am so excited. All right, right as we came back out to the road where we have to turn to head to our next little spot, the Pudus are here. There's a baby one, Curt's getting them. Oh, how amazing. Okay, we just had a major close encounter with Pudu, mama and baby. And I could tell the baby was very curious, so I sat down in the road so I wouldn't be so imposing. Mom could clearly tell we were not a threat. She had scoped us out a little bit already, and she was just munching away. But the baby walked right up there on the road. Never got close enough quite for me to touch him, which I would have never done, by the way. But he was as curious about me as we were about him. That was a special, special moment, guys. That was something. Jeez. All right, let's go look for more animals. I don't know if I can top that, though. We're gonna try. Let's go.
Up there, we've got another spotting of something. It probably is a Pudu because it's fairly small, and now that we know we look like it, It's kind of in the shade, so it looks a bit black. Could be a fox. Can you see it now? Now there's also cats here, which are supposed to be the hardest things of all to see, which we know. But this is definitely a Pudu, I think. I guess I can't say definitely.
Okay, so he eats the big green plants. He eats everything. It's like a salad, one bite at a time.
Yeah, he's just eating, and he's so calm and curious. I hope he doesn't go into the van.
And they crunch really loud when they eat.
But he was just
He's right in front. There he goes.
was just kind of staring at me.
Look at his little teeny tiny antlers.
They're skinny. They're about 4 inches. They're sharp at the top, though.
All right.
See, look at me in the yellow flower. Oh, he didn't get it. He didn't like that. Is gonna be amazing. What's nice is to have an experience like this is to be able to observe and kind of see what kind of food they eat. So I don't know if you noticed, but as he walked along,
He was eating
he
different.
was picking at the grass, and then he'd look up, and there was those long yellow flowers. He did not miss one of those. He grabbed those yellow flowers, and these big plants we were showing you guys on the way in. He also loves to eat those.
Hold on, he's curious. After seeing 5 different Pudu teeny tiny deer, one of them being a baby, it was amazing. This place is beautiful, peaceful, and quiet, and the lodge setup is perfect for us. We're very thankful we get to stay here. But this is where we're going to wind this video down. From right here at our camp spot, nestled into these little trees under these bright blue skies. But you're going to want to be sure and come back in a couple of days, because in our next video, we'll be doing some night hikes, looking for some epic wildlife in this beautiful reserve. I don't know how we're going to top the Pudus, but we're going to try. We'll see you guys in a few days. Cheers. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you guys know when we put out new videos. And don't forget, you can always follow us over on Instagram to see what's going on in between videos. Cheers, guys!